to the room. Welcome back. I'm just Eve, and tonight, a conversation about the reparations grift. Um, yeah, okay. I guess we'll just get started at the top. Earlier today, I was in a space hosted by News Toter. I believe the space is still live. He has the funky Italian in that space, right? Okay, Gabe is in the space, and he is doing all sorts of explaining. And I did want to hear about his response to the allegations of how he was using campaign funds and where certain funds were coming from. But I didn't hear anybody asking him any hard questions. I did hear people holding him accountable for some things he said, but not really any real information about the money. Just a lot of fluff talk, and maybe if you don't ask specific questions, then you won't get a specific answer. So I don't know. I didn't ask any questions, so I'm not going to sit here and say that he wasn't forthcoming with the information. But I guess I just kind of feel like if you're going to be in our spaces, you need to be upfront about everything. You do. Not, we shouldn't have to ask you the right question for you to give us the right answer. And that brings me to my first point of the evening. So Daria, our 11-year-old, bless her heart. So she's listening to the space, and she's looking at my phone, and she's clicking through profiles. She's like, okay, black, 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 black. He's white. And I'm like, I look and I'm okay, yeah, it's Gabe. Yeah, he's white. And then she goes back to looking through profile, black, black, black. And then I just kind of cut her off. I'm like, Daria, everybody in this room is black except for him. And she's like, hmm, okay. And I said, do you think that's a problem? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, but what if he's talking about reparations? So she goes, it doesn't sound like he's talking about reparations. And I just was like, yeah, it doesn't, does it? And I just think about how if whatever you're saying isn't able to be understood by a child, then maybe you should do something different to make sure that people can understand what you're talking about. Because again, we have a lot of people who have reparations in their mouths, but then they're not speaking the right way. Um, And if our 11-year-old can just listen to a little bit of what you're talking about and it doesn't sound like you're for us, then there's probably a problem. And I don't know, maybe y'all don't think it's a problem, but I try to be real clear. We try to be very clear with the children. I'm probably more crass than I'm supposed to be as the mommy. We're supposed to be nurturing and, soft and supple and stuff. I feel like maybe I'm a little more hard than I'm supposed to be. But I feel like well, I feel like you shouldn't lie to them. Like, saying a little person versus a midget, I mean, it's the same thing, but, when it comes down to it, if there's a midget terrorizing the playground, I don't need you to try to tell me it's a small person because that could actually count for a whole bunch of kids. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little confusing. So, call a spade a spade. She saw that there was a white guy in a space full of black people and it just didn't sound right. Kind of like when we went to the reparations meeting and there was white people at the reparations meeting in charge. They're on the task force, and she's just like, well, why are they in charge of anything? Shouldn't they just be listening and figuring out how they can help us solve the problem? So anyway, that's just a question she had. It's a question I had. I don't know that I'll get a real answer from anybody on that side of things tonight, but it is where I wanted to start with. If what you're saying doesn't sound like you're talking about reparations, are you talking about reparations? I don't know. Um, I posted in the jumbo, courtesy of our sister Linus Crown, the receipt. This is something that was brought up in the space because people definitely spoke up about Gabe's "I'm Freedman first" rhetoric, and that definitely rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not going to sit here and say that tweet says I am a freedman. It doesn't. It said I'm Freedman first. But I mean, again, if you're going to be in our spaces, you can't cut corners, you can't talk sloppy, you can't be messy. It needs to be on the up and up. Everybody needs to know exactly what you're talking about. There shouldn't be no uh, there shouldn't be any sleight of hand or or tricky language. You need to be exactly who you say you are every single time. That's, I guess, part of the vetting process. So um, I'll give him credit for the tweet. He didn't say, I am a Friedman. No, he said, I'm Friedman first. But what he did tonight, y'all, if you heard it, cool. If you didn't, I'm about to tell you what happened. What had happened was, and not one of those, what had happened was, this is the other one. So what happened in the space is that he talked about it. He said, yeah, well, there's white people in the reparations movement, and I'm talking to them because I just want them to know that I'm in support of the freedmen. And I just want them to know that, you can't be on the wrong side of things here. So shout out to Linus Crown for the receipt, because the receipt, it's a whole tweet. He said the indigenous black advocates have found me and they are mad. And in that space, y'all, from, I don't know, maybe an hour ago. So if you listen to the playback on News Toter's space, I guess, fast forward an hour, he starts talking about how he's not talking to black people. He's talking to the white people in the reparations movement. And not only have I not seen a lot of white people in the reparations movement, but this tweet kind of shows me that he's not talking to white people at all. He's talking to niggas. And how dare you? How dare you? Look, and I get it. People start bringing people around. You get invited to the cookout. Your wife makes jollof. What did we? Was the jury out? She Friedman. Okay. I'm sorry. Your wife makes some sort of cookout dish. She brings you. Cool. Whatever. But I don't have to invite you to the cookout. I'm so tired of these open-ended invites to the cookout. Niggas, are y'all really extending a hand like that? I mean, are we doing that for people who don't who don't bring anything to the table? Because we need to get off of that. Everybody doesn't need to have a hand in what we're doing. We don't need everybody's help. We really don't. And if people are gonna help, that's great. But I don't think that we should have to rely on them to help. I think that if you want help, you look in the mirror and you say, all right, bitch. All right, so not, maybe you wouldn't say bitch, but you would just look in the mirror and be like, look, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you, and you gonna help me. We gonna help each other. And then hopefully there's other people looking in the mirror having the same conversation with themselves about what they're gonna do to get out of the situation that we're in, because each one needs to be doing something. It's not just each one teach one or each one reach one. Niggas need to be doing. We need to be in the active action phase of things, not just in the talking phase of things, which I guess brings me to my next point. Shout out to you in the room, people who raised their hands. Thank you for wanting to come speak. I'm gonna go on for a little bit though. So if you want to still speak, I'm not gonna deny you the mic, just not right this second. Have some thoughts that I want to get off my chest first. There's another tweet in the jumbo. Did you check it out? Check it out right now. All right, you did it. Cool. National Reparations March, October 7th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No reparations, no vote. All right, here's my issue. I don't like symbols. I've never been a person who's big on symbols. I'm a tangibles type of person. You can give me something that I can see, and I don't have to have faith that it's there. So, I've kind of always been like that. And I think it's probably just the spookism of different beliefs that we've been told to have, and then how certain beliefs haven't actually tangibly done anything. They might have symbolically done something for you, but just in the grand scheme of things, when people say, "Where was Jesus during slavery?" or because I mean, I know niggas was crying out. They had to have been, and if it didn't work the way that people keep saying that it should work, then maybe it's something else. So don't judge me too hard for not sharing certain beliefs, but I am on the actions of it. You're a person who puts in work, then you should see a beautiful result. You water the garden and you get some nice results, some nice yields. And okay, so that was an aside about this reparations march that I believe is a symbol. I don't want us to be a people who have to come back to this every year. Is that where we are? Is every year we're gonna get together and we're gonna stomp and we're gonna yell and scream and cry to the people in DC about how we're owed. And I mean, because it kind of sounds like Black Lives Matter 2.0. It kind of sounds like we're supposed to be waiting for them to give us something, and I don't know that that's how you get what's owed to you, that you wait for the person who owes to finally say, okay, you win, here's what I'm going to do. As much as I know that it's our everyday work, our boots on the ground outside work, that is moving the needle, not these once a year reparations rallies. I don't want to keep seeing a once a year annual. If in 5 years we have a fifth annual reparations rally, what the fuck are we doing? Go do something to yourself. And look, I got in trouble on Twitter for saying that to a bedwench from South Africa the other day. So y'all know what I'm saying. But she needs to go do something to herself too. So, people who are in the way, I think that y'all are needing to move out the way. But if you're going to be in the way, then people are going to use you as target practice, really, because the first war is at home. It's not going to be with them other people. Yeah, it's easy to hit Gabe because he's right there in the fucking mix. Like, he's right there next to my foot. Yes, I'm going to kick. But it's these other people. It's the people who look like us. It's the people who come over here and try to take what's ours and tell us that we don't need to fight this way. We need to do it a different way. We need to vote. We need to wait. We need to ask. We need to march. We need to sing. We need to play. Fuck all that. No, if you're not outside right now, okay, maybe not right now because it's like 10 o'clock where I am and I'm inside. So, but if you're not outside in general, doing the damn thing, then I'm gonna need you to shut the fuck up about a reparations rally, a second annual reparations rally. No, nah. And then, all right, so then you go to the website about us, our missions, our mission. In lieu of current world events, there is an urgency for our organizations to unite and focus on the best course of action regarding our people, the Black descendants of enslaved people in the United States. The Union's mission is united for one reason and one reason alone: to demand reparations for our people group only. We will not be including any other groups' movements to our plight. The time is well overdue that our people get what they are so rightfully owed. It is the NRL's hope that your leadership will meet with our leadership to forge this great agenda forward. It is our time. Join us, fight with us, build with us, so that we can finally have true equality and not a shell of it. Reparations or nothing. And look, when I read it earlier, when I read it a couple weeks ago, when I first came across this, shout out to Joe for sending me this information. I thought that was nice. I mean, I do think that we need to have groups and organizations that are going to be specifically for us. Delineation, delineate, uh, delineate 2023. I think that's cool. I think that we definitely need to have stuff that is for us. But then I start to think about who all is involved, and I can't help but notice on the postcard, on the postcard, is Lord Jabba. I'm sorry, it's not him. Again. Really, nigga? Okay. How are you? Okay. Let me. Did you hear that? I breathed. All right. How is a person who's able to phoenix into all of these different characters, is that a good word? He's able to phoenix into a different character. You a Moore, you a Friedman, you a ADOS, you a DOAS. Is that the other one? Okay, anyway. But you're not black. That's established because, you went on a whole tirade about how you're not black. So got it. So who are you talking about, my guy? Like, what? Who who is reparations for if it isn't for the blacks? Because let's face it, in this country, it's only us. Everybody else got a name. The blacks is us. And if you're not black, then who are you speaking for? And okay, everybody's gonna start saying, well, he's a freedman and he's speaking for freedmen. But I'm a billion% sure like 5 years ago he was speaking for Morocco. Like like Morocco, the country in not America, not an American, sovereign citizen. Okay, not sovereign. He says that we don't have a country that'll speak up for us. And I don't think that he's wrong there. America does its best to make sure that we are a permanent underclass, right? But that doesn't mean that it's not ours, and it doesn't mean that we can't take it back. So I think that if you're going to be in the way, then again, we're going to use you for target practice. National Reparations League, I have zero issues with you, but I do have an issue with what you're doing. Why is this a second annual meeting? Why are you not? I'm sorry. Let me ask this question. Did y'all fill out a permit? Did you fill out a permit to have your reparations rally? Because I guess that's my first issue. Having to fill out all these permits. How in the hell are we supposed to say that we're gonna make people do anything, and then we had to fill out paperwork to go downtown to say, is it okay for us to march here? Really? Because like I think that if something was just wrong, you would just do something to combat that, not that you would go ask permission to do it. And I'm not saying that we haven't asked permission to. I feel like it's kind of silly. But I get it. You want to be safe. You want to follow the rules. You want to do what they say that needs to be done to ensure that everything goes the way it's supposed to go. But did y'all niggas forget we are dealing with people who are I'm white and I say so? It doesn't really matter what the rules say. They can do whatever they want. And if that's the case and you're being safe, then I say you do whatever you want too. I don't know. But if everybody's going to be saying that they're outside, but some people are only waiting for once a year to come outside, where do they do that at? Because I think that other groups of people, when they're having to do anything, not only are they fighting, I'm sorry, they're not fighting. They're holding on to our coattails, picking up on our fight and then getting those benefits. But, they're with each other and making sure that other people don't have access to whatever the resources are. So even though they say, yeah, black and brown, to get into the door, once they're in the door, they slam the door in our face and it's all about the brown. I'll never forget, what was it, 2 years ago when I was listening to Tariq and he was telling us about the Hispanic caucus, and then he was telling us about the Black caucus. And then you go on the respective websites and the Black caucus was talking about unity and Pan-Africanism and COVID and just a whole bunch of shit. And you go to the Hispanic caucus and it's like, we're here for Hispanics, period. We're going to get them some money. We're going to get them some programs, period. And it just seems so simple. I don't know. Maybe I'm complicating things tonight, you guys. I don't think I am, but just when I saw this flyer and then I heard the talking points earlier tonight, I just was like, damn, not him again. Again? Is this where we are? Like every year we're gonna have to fight the same fight. Like, y'all ever play video games and you get to the final boss and then you beat him? So y'all niggas are the ones who like to go and play the game all over again and then beat the same bosses all over again. Like, so every year you gotta play the game, you beat the bosses. You don't even go back and get the Easter eggs. You just playing the same on medium because you a coward. You can't do it on hard. And you like, I'm not gonna do it on easy because I already beat it first. Okay, that's cool. But why are we not why are we floating in the same circles with regards to what we've already done? Why are we still talking about people who should already be out of the mix unless it's new people giving these people support? And for the new people, why haven't we established a way to get them to be quiet? New people are not supposed to be able to speak up in spaces like this. Not in Twitter spaces, not on YouTube spaces, not on Facebook. Like, new people should know that there's a hierarchy of who should be giving out information. And not that you're not allowed to talk, because if you're of the lineage, absolutely, your story matters and you should be able to speak. However, there's some people of the lineage who are vote blue no matter who. So if you think that I'm going to sit here and say that their voice matters, it doesn't. Some people have already been established as treasonous. And it's stupid to keep saying, well, what is it's going to be different this time? No, I think we need to treat them all the same. The first time, okay, maybe not the first time. Maybe you needed to get your feelings hurt. Okay, well, now you know. So anything else that you're doing at this point, sending cash apps to support the second annual reparations rally, when there are people who are putting in work every day in real life, you could hit up, there's 10 people in this room right now that are boots on the ground every day. You could send them a cash app and say, hey, print some flyers, or hey, do this, or hey, here's some money because I see that you're putting in the work and I don't know what best you would spend it on, but I see you doing the work. I think that would go a lot farther than a rally when we've already done that. Like, okay, maybe you didn't want to do Tariq's rally. That's cool. But that doesn't mean that everybody's supposed to have a rally. Because, damn, are we serious or are we just out here just to talk? Like, niggas want participation trophies and they want clout. Like, didn't they? Not didn't they? They tried this last year. I'm sure, well, the turnout was interesting. I'm going to just say that. I'm going to just say the turnout was interesting. And I think that if we're going to be prepared and we're going to be speaking out, then it can't look sloppy, right? I think we have to look like a unified group, people who know what they're talking about, people who aren't having infighting. Like, white people handle that shit later, they handle it in house. And then we never know about it, not until way later. But when we have infighting, everybody knows about it. Right up, like it's on the front page of the newspaper. And for what it's worth, I feel like that's the only way that we've been able to pay attention because we have a focus problem over here. But maybe, just maybe we can start knocking heads behind closed doors. And then when people start asking, well, where did he go? You can let them know, oh, he's not doing that anymore. He's taken a behind the scenes approach for the reparations movement, and then just leave it at that. There's enough people out here who are doing the right work and speaking the right way who are not getting the support, and shame on you for that. Peace to my brother Devon. Welcome up to my thoughts. Just had some thoughts tonight about.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Just had some thoughts. Did you have any thoughts, Devon?
I did. Cause I'm glad you. Cause I thought he was gone. Like I saw Jade on Twitter. I saw her posting his stuff, and I was like, "Who's this?" I forgot all about him, and it just made me wonder, when did niggas start? I call, you know who I call Gabe? I call him he's the parlor man. He's the parlor because he looks like he owns a nasty ass pizza parlor and a fucked up funeral home parlor. That's who he looked like. How you gonna trust a funeral home looking pizza man ass white boy? That I gotta question any nigga that just that trust that the smirk, the fact that he chose that profile picture with that Geno's pizza
He
ass
chose
smirk.
it. Devon, he said, "This the one right here."
Yeah, he said, "Oh yeah, this is the one. I'm gonna get him. The black folks gonna like me. I'm gonna get him with this one." He put on his suit. You know what I mean? I'm sure he looked at me. I'm sure he took like a good 10, 20 selfies with that and chose the right one and said, I'm gonna use this one right here. And so, that's how I'm looking at it. Like, so first of all, I question the discernment of any black person who from the moment he came around listened to what he had to say. Second, again, why are we having this fight again? Another reparations rally. Niggas love shows. Like, one thing I realized, like, on my show earlier, when I talk about certain things, it's a lot of black people and a lot of black men, unfortunately, that come around. The first thing they say is, "Where are the positive images? We need these images. We need a leader." It vexes me every time I hear a grown ass man say, "Where's leadership? We need this," or "There are no leaders." The fact that you had to say there are no leaders mean you ain't a leader. That's what the fuck it is, because we all project what's inside of us onto the world around us. And so these old "where are the leader" ass niggas, you know what I mean? They're a problem. They're a major problem, and they're the ones who fall for these shows. So you get these opportunists that can come around like Gabe, like these people throwing these bullshit ass rallies, and they can placate on the vulnerabilities of these grown ass men looking for leadership. You know what I mean? These niggas are looking for leadership and properly fitting thongs at the same time. So those are the kind of men that we're dealing with these days. And so, you get these people that hustle up on that. And Gabe is one of them. And we're here fighting the same fight a year fucking later. Like you said, when it comes to reparations, look, man, we ain't gotta do it. Everything ain't gotta be done all the way out in the public. I went to the reparations rally last year in DC. We had one in here in LA. And I'm telling you right now, I ain't going to no more goddamn rallies. Man, I'm just not. You know what I mean? And you're never gonna probably never gonna see me at any of these rallies again because that's not where shit gets done. It's cool to have them. Don't get me wrong. Rallies have a time and place, but we had the time and place. Now it's time to go back home. I've been back home on Senator Stephen Bradford's ass here in California because he's my local politician here in Gardena that's over this California bill that's talking about reparations for us local Californians. I'm on Maxine Waters' ass. I said something on her Twitter today. She was talking about some goddamn hip hop 50. I said, you better hip hop yo ass back to the office and talk about some fucking reparations. Like Maxine Waters can't come around here. We don't hardly ever see her. Only time we gonna see her is at a jazz festival. But you better be for goddamn sure if I see her at a jazz festival, Maxine Waters, what about the reparations? Emails. You know what I mean? Constant engagement with these offices. That's where it's at. And I'm just one person, but imagine if a good 5% of black people in every city did this. All you need is 5%. 7, 8% of black folks. You don't need them all. Let the rest of these bumbling idiots go around looking for rallies. But if a good 7% of us be on these local Congress people's asses all goddamn day, that's gonna do a hell of a lot more than a rally. And it ain't gonna cost you. You ain't gonna have to spend. It don't take much time. Hell, I got to the point now that I'm gonna tell you right now what I do with Senator Bradford. I have the same fucking email. Like when I'll just send it to him. Matter of fact, I just got an idea. I think I'm about to add his ass to my MailChimp and make his ass a weekly delivery of with his reparation email. I just that idea just dropped in my head right now. I'm gonna see if I can put this nigga on MailChimp and make sure that he hear from my ass once a week. Cause he hear from my ass at least once every other month at the least. So those are the things that we can do. But most of the things that we can do as a people going into solutions, the things that we can do aren't in the spotlight. Other people aren't going to see it. You're not going to get a pat on your back. People aren't going to go and say, "Ooh, you're the smartest, greatest thing ever." See, most of you niggas is out here looking for attention, and that's the goddamn problem. These niggas is out here looking for attention. That's why they can throw rallies and do all this other extra shit instead of doing a goddamn work. And again, it's not against the rally because rallies do have their place. They definitely have their place. I'm not saying they don't have their place, but what I am saying is rallies are fake hustle. It's fake hustle for most of these niggas. It's just an attempt to get some goddamn attention. You niggas need to watch some fucking cartoons and get back in love with yourself and give yourself the attention you're looking for from other people. Cause I'm tired of this shit, and I'm with you, Eve, and I'm tired. And I'm done talking when it comes to that. I appreciate this topic right here.
Not they need to watch cartoons and get back to loving themselves, but I kind of like it to one stick up butts and wanting to tell people how to do things might not mix. So maybe just relax a little bit. Some of y'all need to relax, but not too much because that's when you stop doing work. A rally. Let's go with the definition, shall we? It is a mass meeting of people making a political protest or showing support for a cause. So, to the people in the room who are asking what's wrong with a rally, there's nothing wrong with a rally. What's wrong is having this big spectacle every year of niggas getting together, begging the government to do right by us. And that's just my thoughts. And, I'm just Eve. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm the authority on anything as much as I am an authority on how I feel. And I feel like that symbol, it's not good for us. I think the optics are bad. I think that, let's see, I think it's Afro Puffs in the comments said that we should be having reparations rallies every month. And I think that that would be more beneficial. I think that if you were pulling up locally every month, they would get tired of seeing you. At least they would have some sort of conversation with you, like, what do you want? And really, they know what we want. They just want to see how long we're going to be able to do it. The bus boycotts was more than a year. That's more than a year of niggas walking real far distances. But maybe people don't walk anymore. People don't appreciate, the the benefit of having wheels and, not having to rely on other people to get to where you need to get to. I think that we're so far removed from some of that stuff that we think that these big symbolic gestures are going to move the needle, and it's not. It's the everyday thing that you're doing. It's the once a week email that you're sending. And if you can, maybe I'll do this tonight. Uh, if anybody has like an email that they've been sending, send it to me and I'll post it. And we can all send the same damn email. It doesn't have to be something super creative. You just need to get on their radar. They need to know that you're not going to stop bothering them until they address your
Chat
concerns.
GPT will
It's,
write you
it's
one of these.
simple.
If they want to know, Chat GPT will write a good goddamn reparations email. My bad.
Oh, that's an even that's an even better idea. That's even better. So if you're having issues, ChatGPT, the AI for your needs when you don't have the words. Um, so definitely check that out. Sunny, I don't know where you went, but I'd love to hear from you. To the room. Thank you for joining me tonight. I have issues with, these big displays, and not because we don't need to be big and have a display, but doesn't that make us a big target? Okay, actually, let me try it this way. Every year we get together and we tell the government, you know, no tangibles, no vote, cut the check, reparations now. But then when it's election season, niggas vote, and we get the same old rigmarole, and let's just say that that goes on for 10 years. At what point do we say that rallies aren't working? And at what point does the fact that they're allowing us to meet and congregate like this show you that this is a problem? Like, this is what's it called, what's the word, it is controlled opposition at its finest. And how do we get things done if we're allowing ourselves to be controlled? It kind of goes to the whole, if you're filling out paperwork to ask your city if it's okay to meet, then you don't really have a problem with what's going on. Because if you really had a problem, you would just show up. You would just pull up. If somebody tried to steal from you, you would just get in their face. But we're not doing that with reparations. We're kind of taking the chill approach. I don't know. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you agree. If you agree or disagree, you can ask for a mic. I would entertain your thoughts. Kush, I think I see your hand was up a little while ago. I threw you a mic if you'd like to come up. And there was someone else, but I don't remember who it was. You can come back up if you'd like.
Hey y'all, peace, power, reparations to the Black American family. Um,
Peace to you, Kush.
look, I'm not even gonna hold you. A whole white man wants to be involved in a reparations.
Wait. Kush, was it you? All right, me and Mister, we've been talking. There was one space where the chick came in. I think it was you because you just said it right now. She said it was a whole white man, and we've been dying for like, I don't know, since you said that in the space.
It probably was me. I'm not even gonna hold you
It's like, yo,
because
but she's right. Like, go
because
ahead.
the whole
Go
thing is
ahead.
just disrespectful to begin with. Like, who are you talking about? The native and indigenous advocates are bad. Who are you speaking to, sir? I want to know because the same people you're over here, you feel the need to disrespect. You would actually need our vote if it came down to it. And then, not to mention, now money is now being mentioned and talked about. And my biggest thing is, when did integrity becomes such a bad thing? Why do you feel the need or have the right to feel like you can put money on a task force and then put a price on my people's repair and justification when you're part of the gentrification of the Fifth Ward of Chicago? So you'll push my grandparents out of a neighborhood and then still ask for a vote and then blame Black Twitter for you not succeeding. You weren't talking about this 5 years ago. You weren't doing none of this 5 or 6 years ago. This was never even on your mind. So it already came off looking crazy. It looked like it was a grift because what's the point? You already come for money, bro. You got mob money. And you feel the need to now jump into something that has nothing to do with you. You don't even do your research on it. You start getting involved with individuals who in the back channels obviously have been doing business, and it's shady business, and it makes the reparations movement look fucking crazy. It takes the genuality out of it. It takes the seriousness completely out of it, because I don't see this as a joke. I definitely see this as disrespect. And if he wanted to go grift and go gain some money, he could have found another way. He could have invested in crypto like a lot of people are doing. You don't have to touch my reparations tab. You don't have to touch my reparations and play with my baby's you don't have to play. You don't have to play with that, bro. And it's just disrespectful. It's disingenuous, and he's gonna fuck. I feel like he's gonna fuck around and find out. But I'm a lender. Thank you.
Thank you for those words. And definitely, this is the year where people are fucking around and finding out. I mean, I've seen that math so many times on so many different timelines that I guess they gonna learn. Peace, Sonny. Welcome back up. Oh, Dewan, you have something?
I was gonna say it's a 7 hearts year. This is the fucking around and find out year. This is just it. It's happening every fucking week. That's all I want to say. Go ahead, Sonny.
Yo, peace to Sister Just Eve, peace to my brother Dwan. I had to just drop down real quick. I had a phone call, but I seen a lot of interesting things that's been taking place. Um, even just today. I'm sorry, my bad. Um, my phone going crazy. But what I seen. So I ran across some interesting things on the timeline just today, right? I seen that the Bridge Span Group, released some information, saying that new research calls on philanthropy to invest in advancing reparations in the U.S. to build a better future for all. And uh, in this whole layout and template, it looks real crazy. It's pretty much just breaking down, saying the reparations for cisgendered people will look different for reparations for people who identify by other different things. And yeah, the reparations movement is definitely under attack from a larger entity and a larger group of different people. And you know it's crazy, man. It's just crazy to really witness. Even I throw it up in the jumbotron, but it's been like a lot of things that's been happening like out there in Philly and California, as far as like looting and stuff like that. So what I'm seeing like on TikTok and different social media outlets is that I'm seeing people looting stores, whether that be Gucci, Tommy Hilfiger, different things like that, where people are looting stores and running out of the stores with a camera in their hand, saying, this is reparations, right?" So I just want everybody to kind of peep the play and really see what's going on. Um, as far as like on the reparations movement, I think that a lot of people are not taking reparations serious enough. As far as like us, it's like a part time thing. For me, reparations is a daily activity. It's something that I think about daily. It's not optional. It's not something that we can negotiate. It needs to be discussed at every single event, every convention, every festival, wherever a multitude of Black people are galvanizing that. It has to be a topic of discussion. The conversation is still in a vacuum. A lot of our people still do not know what's going on outside of Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So I just we all got to get active with that, as far as like signal boosting the message. And in the great words of the philanthropist and the philosopher out of the 757, my sister KD, mind your state. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it don't get too much better than that. So yeah, I just leave it right there, E.
Most definitely. Shout out to KD. Mind your state. We have something coming up on Saturday. We are outside in our state of the beautiful state of Virginia. It is a complex state with a lot of races, but if we can do it, you can do it. Um, before, okay, count. let's see. I got a new speaker. I'm gonna let you go in a second. Don't just speak just yet. I have some things. Stealing. Sonny, you were talking about the videos where people are running out of the luxury stores, the department stores, and they got they're saying this is our reparations. And that's been happening since the riots. And I absolutely agree with what you said, that the optics of what they're trying to say, that what we want versus what we're telling them that we want. If you're not there to dis if you're not there to say that that's not true, then the masses will think that we're playing, and we're not playing. And I don't give a shit what people do with their reparations. You want to go buy out, a Gucci store? If Okay, you won't be able to buy out a Gucci store, but if you want to go spend your reparations on shit, go for it. It's yours. But don't say that that is us as a whole. It's not. I think that that's the main reason that they don't want to give us what's owed to us, because most of us are going to be responsible. And really, wouldn't that boost the economy? I don't hear that argument enough. Like, if we're responsible and we do what we're supposed to be doing, then us getting what's owed to us would actually benefit everybody. It would be the best trickle down effect, I think. Okay. Ignorance is not bliss. What it shows, Sonny, it shows that people are not having these conversations with their family. They're talking a lot of shit on Twitter and the social networking websites and stuff. But when it comes down to it, when they go and get around their family and they're having these, Thanksgivings, birthdays, anniversaries, whatever, just hanging out, nobody's having a real conversation because it's uncomfortable. So what? I mean, so what that your family thinks that every time Eve comes around, she's talking about that black stuff? So what? Don't y'all need to be talking about that black stuff? Isn't it possible that you could be George Floyded, or Sandra Blanded, or Trayvon Martin did, or, like that could easily be you, but you don't want to talk about it? I don't get that. And I don't get people who are afraid of those conversations, because it's not going to be me. I will tell you right now that if I became a hashtag, I'm haunting all of y'all. For real. Because really, no, there's no reason for anybody who's doing work to be a hashtag. It's unheard of, except for the fact that a lot of people are on their bystander effect. They think that somebody else is going to do it. And when you do that, nobody gets anything done. Just think about that for a little bit. Peace to you, Conscious. Go ahead. The mic is yours.
Hey, thanks for this for the mic. Just see peace to everybody in the space. I put the link to the reparations commission meeting we had in St. Louis just a few hours ago into the jumbotron, and when you look at it, pretty much all the characters that we talk about were on full display. The vote knew who, no matter who. The white people that for black people but they call themselves and call us Africans and all. I mean, it's just a menagerie. It was amazing. Check that out. And when it comes to when you, I definitely want to agree with you when it comes to like doing the work. Like it's not easy. It's not popular. And like my family, just because I told them not to vote for Biden the first time, they call me a Trumper. He loves Trump. I didn't never say I was gonna vote for Trump. I'm just saying, what you gonna keep voting for the same dude? And then we look around now, he done send billions to Ukraine on y'all. And you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like the work is not sexy, it's not cool, but a few people have to do it. Like for example, I go to my meetings monthly or whatever, and the elders don't be aware of that we have reparations conversations, and they've been going on for months, and because they don't go on the internet. But when I go to my meetings or I see them in functions, I bring it up to them, and then I tell them what to do. And if they don't want to go, I show them the email and say, write an email, write a letter. And I'm very proud to say one of the elders I reached out to about 2 meetings back, he got on the city's head. But and he's 80 years old, so he can talk how he want to talk. And he got on the city's head, and he said, "Why is this not on the city calendar?" I called the mayor's office 7 times. After he came to the one before this one, the ethics commissioner for the mayor put it on the city calendar. Now Up until from April until August, you couldn't find our reparations commission meeting if you tried. After he came up there and said what he had to say, now all you got to do is go to the city website and go to the city calendar, and they have to post it. And they was trying to hold backdoor the meetings for the breakdown of each one was they were going live every month. They tried to hide those. I had to email the ethics commissioner about that. Like, why are they hiding these meetings? They're supposed to be public. We're supposed to be knowing what's their strategy and where they're going forward. As soon as I made that phone call, 2 hours later, they posted to YouTube, which it was supposed to be live the night before. So as long as they know somebody is on their neck watching them, they can't keep on pulling this stuff out on us. So I just want to say, like, yeah, it's and as far as like people doing the rally and for the show and get on Twitter and talk, you just have to just understand and use your discernment and know who these people are and take them for what they are. Use the receipts that a lot of people in this room, including myself, put out for those people other than the name that I gave them, like the one that she used earlier, if you know what I'm saying. Java. So anyway, I'm gonna land on the mic on that. Y'all have a good evening. Thank y'all for everybody that supported it and sent the flyer out prior to the one for this last meeting. I got the turnout was humongous. This is the first time that in 6 meetings, which I think is no coincidence, they had armed security there. So somebody's scared of what somebody's gonna say. Somebody's thinking that yes, it's getting to be a lot of attention on this. And we got about 2 more public meetings going down the road, and we have 1 more coming into next year, and they're gonna put in their recommendation. And me and my brother Immortal and my other brother, me and El, we've been going there beating the drum on cash payments. I said 1 million. Young Blood said 500,000. And then Brother Immortal came in there and told them, don't give us nothing but cash. And that's what we standing on. So I land on that.
Well, shout outs to y'all for definitely speaking that cut the check language. I think that when we're in their face, it is extremely hard to ignore us. And, but I think that everybody knows that we easily move on to the next thing. It's very sad that we don't have the focus necessary. Well, that some of us don't have the focus necessary, but enough of us seem like we want to try. It's going to be a task, you guys. It's not easy. You have to remember to send out that email. So again, if you have like a Devon, what you were talking about, is that like an auto thing? Like it will send the email out and you don't have to do anything?
Yeah, like like Mailchimp is like what you use like when you're advertising, but it has like automations. But also Canva. If you have a Canva account, Canva has automations that connects to your email account where it'll send out like an automatic email to a group of recipients. And so what you could do is, and this is like mostly it's only worth it usually if you're a business owner, and you're sending out marketing emails. That's what it's primarily used for. But you can still, I would just have the idea of using it for this.
But I mean, Canva
So
is a free app, right?
yeah, Canva's free, but and the paid one has automated emails and automated posts, so you can set up a group with a different, like maybe your local congressperson, your state congressperson, and your federal congressperson. Maybe they could be on the chain, and that to where you send them out. These just ideas I'm throwing out. You know what I mean? That particular part I haven't implemented yet. It kind of just hit my mind as I was talking, but I do have emails that I do send out regularly to my local people, because that's you got to know these people. I'm going back to basically what I'm doing is I'm applying what these white folks taught me when I went to college. These motherfuckers told me to go to college. So shit, I applied what these dumbass niggas taught me, and I took political science. And I remember in poli sci in college, they always said when Congress people see an email, or back then email was still kind of new, mail and letters were still the thing, but emails were still around. They were saying, yeah, when they see one email from a constituent locally, they count that as 10,000. That's their math within politics. When they see someone in their constituency, then they know the majority of constituents will not email them. And for you self hating niggas out there That includes white folks. We ain't the only ones that don't be paying attention politically. But they know that they know this about that the majority of all constituencies will not be active. So when they see correspondence from someone within their district, they count that as that person being in contact with 10,000 people, potentially 10,000 voters within their district. So that's how they see things, and that's how that's something we got to know. And so everybody can't make the rallies. You know what I mean? It's good if you do, and if you can't, or if you can't, it's something you can do in addition to. I just do it during my fuck off time. You know what I mean? And so just different ideas. We gotta really annoy these people. And when it comes like going back to what you were saying earlier, Eve, about like always being out front, what happens is, see what happened is during the '60s, they like to one thing about these white folks is they're masters at revising history, I should say. I'm sorry, revising history. Revisionist history is something that they're masters at. So they'll take something that actually happened that actually was true, and they'll reframe it and tell you, well, that's not how it happened. It happened this way. Like for instance, the civil rights movement. They'll take the civil rights movement and they'll only show us the rallies. They'll only show us the protests. They won't show you all that, like you said, Eve, when you talk about the Montgomery bus boycotts. That was a year of walking. They don't show you, the deacons of defense. They don't show you all the different components that led to our freedom. They only show you one aspect of our freedom, and they blow that one aspect up. They show you the rally parts and blow that up. The rallies was one of many things that was happening, and so it's those are all things that we can do to make sure this shit happens. Because we gonna get our goddamn reparations. We just gotta try more than one thing, and showboating is not a way to do it.
That's a fact, Dewan. Absolutely. There's definitely going to be, has to be, needs to be, it needs to be hit at different angles. I guess that's the best way to make sure that the enemy is defeated, right? So, rallies are cool. I guess we've established that. Being outside is cool. And their face is good. You can call, you can send an email once a week. I don't think that that's a lot. I think that I think we do a lot of talking on Twitter, and I would like us to be coming to these conversations with evidence, with not invoices, but with receipts, like you guys have. People who've been showing up to their local meetings, people who, I'm sorry, I don't know where my voice is going, but I'm going to finish this thought. People who are doing the work are going to say, this is what I did. And it's not going to be a bunch of plebiscite talking. It's really not. And I love that about you guys. And keep that up because the minis are watching us. I swear to God, they're watching. So whether you have them in your home or they're your niece, nephew, cousin, or whatever, you see that they see you in the street, they're watching and they have questions.
I want
And
to say something real quick based on what you said the minis are watching. I think one thing we got to know as a people, reparations is that's just the political agenda for multiple lifetimes, because we've suffered multiple lifetimes of trauma. So got to remind folks the reparations isn't a one-time thing. Speaking about the minis, they're watching us move. Reparations is their political agenda too. Remember how much we learned from our parents and our family? We were told vote blue no matter who. We were told go to college. We were taught all these things coming up. Go to college, vote Democrat, follow the program. It's going to work out. And we followed that program to a T. We just realized that as we got into our 30s and some people into their 20s, you realize that shit didn't work. So imagine the mindset of minis and babies being raised on a reparations platform, because we'll get our initial reparations, but they're gonna be finding all kinds of new angles of reparations to get 50 years from now, just like the small hats do, getting reparations from a country that didn't even put their little asses in internment camp. They getting reparations from us. Our your children and grandchildren gonna be finding random ass banks that got bought out in 1869 that is still somehow connected to Wells Fargo today, and hitting them motherfuckers up for reparations too. That's something we got to look at when Eve's talking about like looking at the minis. Man, this is a lifetime thing when it comes to reparations, and our people's great grandchildren should also be fighting for reparations. As long as black people live, and as long as there's the United States of America, reparations is a political agenda. Period.
Period. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, man, you said a word. And you're right. Because like I said, I don't cull what our minis say, or at least I try not to. And it might come off as crass or, a little harsh sometimes. And I guess sometimes I let them know that was a little that was a little much. Maybe you don't have to be so loud next time, but for the most part, you should you should talk to them and really talk to them because they're targets too. I feel like it's such a letdown or such you tell them about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and all a bunch of bullshit, but something that could keep them safe and something that will keep them in the powerful position that they need to be in when they get what's owed to them. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So, okay, let me not. Peace to my sister. Why they do me like that? They haven't really done me too hard to. Okay, let me not say it like that. Let's backtrack. Okay.
Oh, Eve, oh my goodness.
Whoa. Okay. How did we get here? Hey, Iris.
Hey, thank you for having this space, and I love, of course, that how you bring in the minis, the babies, because we're not just fighting for us, or we're not just fighting for what was owed to our ancestors. We're doing this also for the babies, and we're doing it for our future grandbabies, so they can have their inheritance too. So thank you for bringing them up. And I will say that when I went to the last hearing in SAC, it was awesome that I got a chance to bring my son, and he got a chance to be in that environment. It was standing room only, so we were waiting outside for a minute until we were able to get back in there. But for him to see, he hears me talking about reparations every day because I'm really about this. But but for him to see that in action, it was pretty cool. Like, it was a great experience to share with him. And so one thing that the reason why I even requested to come up was when Dewan was saying, don't get tired, like to stay encouraged, to endure. And also when you talked about people just advocating for us. I watched this whole like a California state, I don't know, I'll call it a hearing, if you will. And they were voting on a whole bunch of stuff. And this was, we're watching for ACA 8, which ended involuntary servitude for prisoners. So that was one of the task force's recommendations that basically passed 60-2. But one thing I found, I mean, they were advocating for a bunch of stuff, and nobody quivered and shivered when they said immigrants only, Latinx only, women only, And so when I peeped that, which was really cool to see, the state legislators in action. But I'm like, well, if they can do that, we don't have to be black, and we don't have to be black American, and so that was great to see, because I'm like, if these other LGBT, they were doing all kinds of specific policy that were for specific ailments. So I think everybody has been conditioned to be uncomfortable with proposing policy that goes specifically to Black Americans. And I know that that's probably, how the white supremacist owned media wants it to be. But that's just what I wanted to offer, was like, when I watched that hearing, and I watched it for, I think, about 8 hours. They went to lunch, came back, and I was still watching it. But there was a lot of specificity, and I'm like, all right, bet. Well, if these other communities can do it, we can do it too. And a lot of the people that were championing for these very specific resources, they weren't always like their people. So, it's definitely up to us. Somebody, I think it may have been Sunny, said, be where you are, like advocate for where you are, because that's how things can really happen. So just keep showing up, guys. And if there is going to be a rally, I think it would be really, really cool to have it in like an inconvenient location, like in front of somebody's house. Now, I'm not saying to break the rules and to block driveways and stuff like that, but if people, they don't want to hear you. The neighbors don't want to hear nobody coming at you. I mean, but you can be wherever the hell you want to be. So, like when Nancy Pelosi got a pig on her front doorstep in San Francisco, Francisco, I thought that shit was hilarious. So I'm not saying like, I say do whatever it is that you want to do, but make it inconvenient if you can. And that's it.
Absolutely. That's my point about the filling out the paperwork. Like, I get that. I get that there is a whole process, and we want to be safe. We don't want to just go out and just, I mean, if y'all not ready to be outside, then probably don't do anything that would keep you outside. But to that point, if we're asking someone for permission, we're asking the people who are knocking us in the head not only to stop knocking us in the head, but give us a reprieve and help fix the problems that we've got because they've been knocking us in the head for as long as we've been getting knocked in the head. It just doesn't sound right. I think that when you protest, it is supposed to be in the way. You are definitely supposed to make sure that nothing else gets accomplished because what is on the table is what we're talking about. Like, that's the only thing that matters right now. Fuck a Ukraine, fuck a DACA, fuck a small hats. It doesn't matter. The rest of the world could be burning down. It doesn't matter. Y'all need to cut the check. And like I said earlier, we are a responsible people. Yeah, there are some of us that are going to trick off what is owed to us, but so what? That's theirs to trick off. Like, let them do that. There has to be a permanent underclass. So if people want to take that position on their own, let them. Like, whatever. Like, y'all are trying to be in control of some things that you really have no control over. And maybe you would say the same thing about me telling you that you need to have certain conversations with your family. I'm just saying that if you're talking, there it goes again. If you're talking about reparations and it's real to you, then you would be having these conversations. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just saying what it should be. And if it's not that, then I'm saying, well, I guess I call cap. Reparations is not your agenda. It's not what's on your forefront. It's not important to you because you're not having those conversations. Um, our sister, Why They Do Me Like That, posted this and I shared it in the jumbo. This is what America says we spend our money on. Look at what we spend our money on. Does that look like a people who would be harming the economy if they were to give us what is owed to us? No, it looks like a people who would actually stimulate the economy. People who would probably help us get out of this debt that the country keeps getting into. I don't know. But if they owe anybody, they owe us first. So they need to cut the check. Um, Dewan, you had something? I'm gonna let Miriam go, and then you go, and then I have some final thoughts. If
Go ahead.
anybody else wants to speak, now would be the time.
Thank you, Sister Eve. Thank you for the space. Good evening, family in the room, to all you beautiful um, Black men and women of our lineage. Um, to what the brother Conscious from Missouri was saying, bravo to you, brother, and all the others that you were able to, you know, speak to and get involved in the reparations movement and showing up and making your presence be felt. I'm so great, happy that all are saying, uh, you also have to stress because you have Corey over there and Bush, and she's uh, in the foolery, and they're the little letter that they constructed. Well, it wasn't so little. The one that Kamala Harris ended up putting up on her Twitter, I guess, line or space, had a lot of um, trick language in it, like alluding to others other than our lineage. So you have to also stress that it should be FBA lineage based or Black American lineage based, just our lineage, period. It does not include everybody of African descent. No, that's not what we're doing. Only of chattel slavery foundational or indigenous Black American. And also, I wanted to say something about the fact that these people who are looting in these different areas, you really do have to scratch your head and go, why all of a sudden, you know, sudden that these people are doing this? Um, you know how opposition does, and you know that white supremacy takes both sides of the conversation. So therefore they're putting these images out here to sour the taste for our reparations movement even more. So it takes us to be amplifiers, to be a louder sounding board, um, to push our message and to make sure that they know that doesn't represent us. And 9 times out of 10, they're behind some organization, and or they're not even of our lineage. And they may have a couple of coons involved. So that's a lot to, think about too. And then Sister Eve, and when y'all were speaking about our minis, we definitely have to do it not only for our ancestors, not only for ourselves, but for our minis, and then the generations to come after them. Especially, Brother Dewan B was hitting the nail on the head. We definitely have to make sure that we give a great representation. We cannot just be doing it for show. It cannot just, something to where you become a nuisance. If you're going to do it, like many of us who steady do it in our own states, and states, and also pushing forward to do things federally, we definitely have to represent for our minis, and we have to secure that, and we definitely have to also, bombard them with phone calls, emails, as well as make sure that they know that this HR 42 um 4321 bill does not get, passed. We have to dead that. We have to keep that at the forefront, because that is a bill that not only takes away the GI Bill, Social Security, and then it has wording in there that solve anything dealing with reparations, and we can even go, we will not even be allowed to go back to revisit it to bring it up. So that is a genocide bill. So we definitely have to keep you know a press on that, and make sure that we get that in the forefront as well. And I'll yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Definitely, Miriam. Absolutely. You got me thinking about what needs to be explained. Maybe people don't know what minis are. Minis are, well, I guess it's a word that everybody already uses, but how I use it is that our kids, our children, are miniature versions of us. Super simple. Doesn't that math? Okay. From there, if you look at your children as you, then maybe you do better for them. Because sometimes I think we disassociate, and we think that they're their own person and we're our own person. And that is true. But you need to do for them what wasn't done for you, and you need to not bitch about it. That's a problem that we have. People telling us that we need to do more because it wasn't given to us. No, if you have it, you need to give it to us because we didn't have it. We don't have it. Make it easier for the youth, because why would you want it to be harder? I'm not saying that they're not supposed to experience things, that they're not supposed to have adversity. But damn it, if everything is not already against them, they got to get that at home too. Okay, that's my thought about that. Um, grifting. To engage in petty or small scale swindling. When we let these other people in our mix, they don't care about what we're talking about. This is just something else for them to get paid by. And because we care so much, we'll throw money behind it. That's wrong. Y'all need to be discerning with your money. And yeah, I guess that's me telling you how to spend, but if reparations matter to you, then you need to prove it by what you're doing. And if you're just throwing your money behind anybody who's saying reparations, then shame on you. Do better. Okay, that was another thought my voice is going, but there's like 2 more things that I had before I wanted to let you guys go tonight. Here's one more. The general population saying that they don't agree with reparations is some bullshit. The general population doesn't agree with 90% of what the government is telling us that we need to be accepting. Yet, here we are, accepting it. If you've ever had to put he or she or cis anything in your email because your company policy says that you have to be, what's the word, trans accepting, or I don't even think that's the word, whatever it is that you have to, if you've ever had to acquiesce to some shit that you don't agree to, and you're going to sit here and tell me that because everybody doesn't agree to reparations that maybe we shouldn't get reparations, shame on you. Like, who does that? Who says, yes, I know I'm owed, but because people don't want me to have it, they were going to give it to me, but, people don't want me to have it. No, no. If that's you, you need to go do something to yourself. Finally, people are trying to tell the lie, and they've been telling this lie since I was in school. So this is going on more than 2 decades. I guarantee it's probably been a thing longer than that. But we're all immigrants. That's the lie. They say that America is a melting pot full of people who weren't supposed to be here, and they got here, and now everybody is the same. And that's not true. If y'all don't know who you are, you need to start talking to your people. But yes, that means you're going to have these uncomfortable conversations. They're going to be asking you, why do you care now? Well, you care now because you're owed, but you can't prove it because you don't know who you are. That's a problem. Fix it. Black first.